Hello everyone, ethanchaotic here, and I guess I haven't made a video in a while. That was a kind of a mistake on my part, but whatever, that I love my Pet Scott video and it was doing great. But anyway, I'm gonna here to talk about loot boxes. They're on everyone's mind recently, and I know I'm late to the party, but whatever, and fashionably late. People love fashionably late. But so I'm gonna be first talking about EA and their mistake with loot boxes. But just to be sure, just to get that icing on the cake, my personal opinion, why didn't they just call it Battlefront 3? If they're like going for a whole different, fundamentally different game than Battlefront reboot, then it's like, oh well, why don't you just name it Battlefront 3? Battlefront 2 and 1, the originals, were great games. Who doesn't love them? I have the CD for them, and people still used to put CDs in their computer before Steam. But whatever, okay, so they're going with the loot boxes, and it's like, here's how I see it. Okay, so they're basically saying, all right, you could play 40 hours of the game and give us 40 more hours to obviously use to show how much people play our game, or you could just cut all the time in between, give us money, and make people buy our game. So you understand? So that's basically how I think they're doing it. There's always controversy around loot boxes and the way people use them, but very obviously, EA is doing it entirely wrong. They went about the whole separate way in how they would, like, with their last public response, oh, we're gonna be stopping all the paid purchases, loot boxes and such, but you're still gonna have to buy stuff from us, obviously, so we're gonna make you pay for in-game crystals, whatever those are. And like, people always say, oh, loot boxes are bad, but it's dependent on how you do them. Like, obviously in Overwatch, you level up to get loot boxes, or you can buy loot boxes. And, well, I love Overwatch, okay? And nothing is really required in the game. It's like, if you have a good skin, people are like, cool. But if you don't have a skin, people don't really care. It's like, wow, you don't have a skin, loser. And, like, in, League of Legends, they have the Hextech loot boxes, but you don't have to pay for them. Like, if you just play enough games, you'll get enough key fragments to build a key and open the loot boxes. And then people are always complaining like, oh, but look at Shadow of War. They have loot boxes. Yeah, but you realize that they have to make money somehow, and you don't have, like, they're extremely not required. Like, they are the lowest point of loot boxes you can possibly ever get to where it not being required. Because if you just play the game, you'll get it, okay? If you just, if you just find a legendary or an epic, you'll get some pretty good, like, weapons and armor. And I don't really get why people keep complaining, because the gold in the currents in the game, like, you can get that by playing, like, the weekly challenges, and also, like, basically every time you collect a fortress. So I don't get why people keep complaining. You can also buy it with the in-game money, and, like, you can't make us buy loot boxes. Well, they're not. They're like, this is like basically the most optional you can ever get with loot boxes in the game. Like, because Overwatch, they just give you the loot boxes, okay? Like, they're basically required. But obviously, you don't need them to get better at the game. But with EA, it's like, you need to buy our loot boxes, or else you're gonna have to spend a whole lot more time than you would any other game getting loot boxes and getting special heroes and such. So I don't understand what their whole deal is with this whole, like, oh, we're gonna make you pay even though, and it's a good game, and we're just ruining it by, like, not listening to our audience, even though we acted like we did, and then we just bamboozle them by giving them crystals, whatever those are. But in games like CSGO, crates and loot boxes, you need to pay to open them, and everybody thinks they're required since, like, wow, you don't have that gun skin, or you do have that gun skin. It's like, you look like you're bad at playing the game, even if you don't have a skin. Like, skins in that game equals skill, and I mean, you could, like, argue that with Overwatch, but just because you have a really good skin doesn't mean you're good, and some people think that. I mean, I don't understand, okay? It's like, skins equal power. But with TF2, and I guess TF2 is dead now, no one really cares about it. I miss you, TF2. If you're listening, TF2, I love you. But you can buy the crates, and those crates, like, you get free. Okay, every Wednesday, I'm pretty sure I calculated this right. Every Wednesday, your free weapons reset, and I'm pretty sure you get 3 free weapons for every Wednesday, and it like shows you a little timer on which when it's gonna come back, and that's cool, right? That like you don't have to pay for loot crates. You don't have to pay for crates, and people sometimes do pay for crates, even though even though if you get a good like weapon or skin or something and you trade, then you can just like get the skins by selling your money and not selling them, but selling your guns and whatever. It's like TF2 has a whole different process like CS:GO, and it's like, oh wow, if you get a knife, that's a lot of money. And if you ever got 2 knives, I think I would sell one of them because I think like I would want a lot of money. It's it's like it doesn't matter if the knife looks good, and it doesn't matter if like it was like, whoa, look at that knife. Like I could just buy 100 loot boxes or crates with all the money I get from the knife. But whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So just to talk about loot boxes and EA and to I guess summarize all what's going on. I don't know. My opinion on loot boxes is they're fine if they're done correctly, and most cases they are, unlike EA with Battlefront 2. So that was all for this video, ethanchaotic one here. And I think I'm going to make this series, I think it's going to be called, like, Topic of the Hour. And then it's, like, whatever's, like, recent and happening and new. Because that sounds cool. I've never really had a running series other than video game series. And I kind of just, like, dropped all those except Borderlands. But whatever. I'll see you guys in the next video, and goodbye.